Marshall in the middle.
Welcome back to another edition of the NBC Room. I am here with my man Nate Dog Ranger. Nate, how you doing?
What's up? What's up?
Big Top Marshall, Will Marshall in the building. Seems like you're the one on vacay today, brother. Yeah, you out there in a nice little hotel, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so,
Oh
so
yeah.
tell me, you guys have traveled. Y'all went out to go see Joe Rogan, huh?
Yeah, so my dad gifted us a week out in a timeshare in Austin. Actually, it was a
Oh,
timeshare
nice.
anywhere we wanted. And so Penny chose Austin. And so
Okay.
we basically had a really nice room at the Wyndham right downtown Austin, walking distance to everything.
Nice.
And so we booked some comedy shows, and we
Okay.
went to three different nights of comedy, and we saw Joe Rogan, Ron White, Brian Simpson,
Oh,
Matty,
That's awesome.
all the big dogs, all the big
That's
dogs, and it
awesome.
was so much fun. We had a blast, and sometimes we slept in and didn't do nothing till 10 o'clock.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
we went to bed early, and took the night off of going to things, but it was really a lot of fun, and had a good time. So yeah,
That's
that was
good, man. That's
was
awesome.
really so we're on our way back now. We've stopped
Okay.
in Biloxi. We're going to stay overnight. Penny wants to go down and gamble some more, and so it's her night to pay for a nice dinner. So we're going to go somewhere she's going to choose for a nice dinner,
Right.
and then we're going to go. Then we're going to go. Where she's going to gamble, and I'm going to drink whiskey drink. So watch out.
woo,
Hey,
baby!
take a shot. Take a shot for me, man. I need it.
Mm. Scotch on the rocks, baby. Glenn Levitt.
Ah, that's awesome. Was
Mhm.
Joe funny? Was he funny in person?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Every one of them killed it. It was
Yeah.
really good. It was so much fun just to be in that aura and that kind of place, and to see how it is in real life. We've been watching it every Monday night for over a year now,
Oh
and
wow.
just to see
Okay.
how it all gets put together, and to see those people, to see the characters like Uncle Laser, and there's another guy. What's the guy? Timmy No Breaks. To see those guys, they're like the modern day Rodney Dangerfields that are just coming up, and they're just so. There was a female that we had never seen before that we just fell in love with. She was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, man. So to segue from that, we do have some topics to talk about. More of this disparity between what the media is telling us and what's actually going on. Um, I want to talk about Trump's trip, man. He had a good trip out to China, and there's a lot to be said of what exactly happened. There's still some vagueness to it. You're hearing a lot of cheering on from the left media about basically, him coming back with his tail between his legs and a whole bunch of weird like narratives coming out of the trip
Yeah.
that just doesn't make sense to me. But one guy on CNN, I want to highlight, like I want to make it a habit of always highlighting people that go against the grain and stands out in courage a little bit and tries to um, you know, fight fight the battle of what everybody expects them to say and expects them to use their voice to do and says what he feels is right. So I want to highlight Michael Smerkolges, or I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but he happens to be an anchor on CNN. Michael Smerkol, I can't remember his name, but top if you
I
share my
think it's
screen, he'll
Smirconish.
come up. Smerconish,
Battered
yeah.
both ways, but as the
So this guy here, he's uh Every time I see him, he has some takes I don't agree with. He has takes I do agree with. But one thing I do say about him is he tries his best to stay true to what he's really feeling. If you go to his YouTube channel, which I'm on right now, you can see just for his take right here, all of his normal CNN followers are bashing. He's getting ratioed horribly. But when I hear this, I hear somebody that's actually thinking about the country and not thinking about his political leanings. So without further ado, I'm gonna play him and let him get a little time on the airspace.
Say bang on. I'm Michael Smerconish in the Philly Burbs. I'm prepared to be in the minority again, but it doesn't dissuade me. In many media quarters, the most notable aspect of President Trump's 2-day visit to China are what he said on the way over and what he said on the way back. And both were portrayed as faux pas. But both made complete sense, at least to me. Just before boarding a flight to China for that summit with President Xi Jinping, a reporter asked whether Americans' financial pain was motivating him to make a deal with Iran. And he gave an answer that people are still talking about.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all.
Not even a little bit became the headline. Talk shows, social media exploded. Can you believe he said the quiet part out loud? He doesn't give a damn about the American people.
And he literally is saying, I'm not worried about you. I don't even think about you. I'm worried about an endless war.
The truest thing he may have said ever in his life. I've never heard him be so honest. I literally don't think about the American
now
people.
He's at the point in his mental disorders that he is now speaking the truth.
Oh, my goodness gracious. The American people are hearing what he's saying about the cost of living and their finances, and they think it's one of the dopiest things they have ever heard come out of Donald Trump's mouth is what he said today. And it comes at a point in which his net approval rating on the economy, according to our new CNN poll, is 40 points underwater.
I'm sure not even a little bit is going to star in plenty of Democratic midterm ads, but here's the truth. President Trump gave the only answer he could have given. Yes, the economic pain is real. Inflation hit 3.8% in April, gas prices sky high, a CNN poll showing 70% of Americans disapprove of his handling of the economy. 77%, including majority of Republicans, say that his policies have driven up the cost of living. But the people stomping on Trump for that answer are missing the point entirely. He wasn't talking to us. He was speaking to Iran. Think about it. The president is just about to be wheels up for Beijing, where his single most important agenda item is persuading Xi Jinping to help squeeze Iran on its nuclear program and end the war. Here's the president last night with Bret Baier.
When you tell somebody you're going to have to.
This whole segment, you guys go check him out. I like the fact that he even took the time to express his dissent from his peers over there on the left side of the media. But it's kind of disheartening, and you kind of get the idea of why those on the left are so rabid about what they think they've heard, because you have all of these talking heads that come out and explain things like that. I mean, am I taking this wrong? Do you think that he this was his only option to say, you guys, about the Iran and the prices of living? What do you say, Nate?
Absolutely not. This is ridiculous, man. That's the same concept when he said that or we are about to annihilate Iran extinction. What he meant was, and I'm just saying I'm not saying verbatim, but you know what I mean. Right. When they threw that out there, man, that's not what he meant. He meant we could take out their entire infrastructure, their energy, their oil, everything right then and there, and that would devastate their economy and put them back into the Stone Age. That's what he meant. It's the same concept, man. How about this one? He's on doggone Air Force One. He gets on there. He's on there about 5 minutes. That reporter gets in his face and asks him, do you think President Xi is a dictator. And the dude just got done, man, with a successful 2-day visit. And this asshole gets on there and gets in his face, man, and tells him, or asks him, hey, man, you think Xi's a dictator? Why did he do that? And Trump's like, I don't think he's a dictator. I think he's a president of a country who loves his country and loves his people. And he said, I leave it at that. He goes, if you want to call him a dictator, that's for you to decide. That's for you to make, ends meet on that, not me. So what the reporter was trying to do was to bait him into calling him a dictator so he can completely erupt any accomplishment on negotiations for deals in the last 48 hours. Okay. His trip was based and mostly complimented on negotiations on trade and investments. And they can't leave it at that. They have to blow it up into dictatorship. And we were played. And I can't even tell you how many memes I saw that I just wanted to explode. But I got control of myself and didn't even do it, man. I was like, just let it go. Let it go. It was successful, man. Just let it go. It was so quick. A blink of an eye, he's back in the United States worrying about what he's going to do to Iran tonight while we're all sleeping.
What say you, Top?
I love it. It's just all just drama. It's just all just blah, 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 blah. Everybody's trying to get a click. Everybody's trying to get somebody to like their whatever. And so I once again have to rely on the belief that President Trump is doing the right things. He's present. He's talking to people, and all the stuff is just junk. They were talking about one of the people he threatened to libel or treason or something like that. I think it's hilarious,
Right.
In many ways, our press likes to be anti-American, and it's really weird.
On that tip, let me play a little bit more. Most he touched that topic.
The strongest remaining weapon in Iran's arsenal, it's not their navy or missile systems. It's American impatience. If President Trump had stood at that microphone and said, boy, I sure hope we can keep this up for a little bit longer because the economy is really taking a toll, that would have been a gift-wrapped signal to Tehran that we're looking for a way out. And this isn't new with Trump. When the war began, he posted apocalyptic warnings on social media. Surely you remember, open the effing straight, you crazy bastards. People said, oh, he's lost his mind. They talked about invoking the 25th Amendment. Yep. I sat here and I argued that what Americans weren't understanding is they weren't the intended audience. Iran was. Yep. Same thing here. And then it happened again, this time on the way home when the president was asked about Taiwan. At the summit, Xi Jinping called Taiwan the most important issue in U.S.-China relations and warned that mishandling it could push the two countries toward collision or conflict. President Trump spoke about Taiwan on the way home.
We discussed arms sales too. And what's his request? We discussed the Taiwan, the whole thing with the arms sales was in great detail, actually. And I'll be making decisions. What was his request? I think the last thing we need right now is a war that's 9,500 miles away. I think that's the last thing we need. We're doing very well.
Would the U.S. defend Taiwan if it came to it?
I don't want to say. I'm not going to say that. There's only one person that knows that. You know who it is? Me. I'm the only person. That question was asked to me today by President Xi. I said, I don't talk about that.
Yep.
So now Trump's unwillingness to confirm arms sales to Taiwan, that became the story. That and his refusal to say whether the U.S. would come to Taiwan's defense in the event of a China attack. Arguably, the bigger story was Trump's revelation that Xi had directly asked Trump whether the U.S. would defend Taiwan if China attacked. Think about that for a moment. The leader of China flat out asked. The question alone tells you everything about where Beijing's head is. If Xi really said that to Trump, it suggests that Xi is looking to invade Taiwan, and he's looking for a green light from the United States to do so. That's a monumental admission of an intention to go to war. And it's an undiplomatic, none of Xi's business question to Trump.
I like his take. I fully agree with his perspective on the end of that, truly. I like his take mostly because of the fact that you know, his ambiguity in what he will or won't do is also our strength as a nation. Like you can't put all your cards on on the table for everybody to see and then expect to still win the poker hand. Because if somebody can play a better hand, they're gonna play it. So it's like,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think that they give too much credits to the idea that Trump is some babbling fool that's just luckily made it in the office, and everybody that supported him are a bunch of idiots that don't know anything. And
Yeah.
we just put our trust in some jackass that's going to ruin the country. But on the
Yeah.
topic of what should we do with Taiwan, what are y'all perspectives on if Beijing does take it, a step towards Taiwan? Uh,
You go ahead, man.
So look, I really believe that the one China policy, where Taiwan and China are one country, and that's the way we have had a policy that's been stated like that forever. That's what China says, is that they're part of the same country. I know that's not very popular in the press, but the thing that I think personally is a travesty is that we're away from our homeland, doing everything that we can do to sell military weapons to another country so that we can effectively take over that country. When we put our air defense up, we effectively begin to own that country. You can say what you want about all kinds of different things and how it got to be that way. But the minute that we put NASAMS or Patriot missiles or THAADs or any of our stuff over a particular place, we own that place. And it's just the nature of warfare. And I think that personally, we need to stop doing that, and we need to pull back our stuff home, and we need to protect our homeland and not continue to be expansionist, especially when we know that it is very inflammatory towards our biggest supposed opponent. I also would prefer that we stop calling them our opponent and start calling them our co-humans, a fellow country. We identify, the press identifies all these people as enemies. Who says they're enemies? Well, ABC, CBS, and NBC says they are. Putin asked to join NATO. I think Putin should be part of NATO, and I think we should all work together and find ways to work together and stop trying to sell missiles to everybody. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. Too is, we, not that we're friends or anything like that, but the point being is, it's what the press wants. Like when Obama did anything positive with China, man, it was the best thing since sliced bread. When he made that billions of dollars, he gave that deal billions of dollars in cash, at the crack of dawn, at nighttime to Iran and stuff, man, that was the best thing since sliced bread. So the media today, going back to the media, they want there to be an enemy, and that Trump is bowing down to that enemy no matter what. It doesn't matter. It's that's why why do you think they keep bringing up Taiwan? Because they know that that's a sore spot for China, for Xi Jinping, and they know that. And they dig at Taiwan. I'm talking about the media when they question him every single time. And you know what? His answer was beautiful. He's like, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Xi Jinping today. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to talk about it. And just leave it at that. And if you think that the United States is going to sit back under Donald Trump's watch and watch China invade Taiwan, I don't believe that's ever going to happen. And the media know that. Here's my question to you guys and to our audience out there. Does anybody believe that the media really, truly believe the questions that they're asking? Do you really think they really believe that? Do you really think they believe that China's going to invade Taiwan under Trump's administration? I mean, do you think they believe that? Or is this their selling point to belittle this man as much as possible, as fast as possible, from him getting out of China's airspace on Air Force One? Do you know what I'm saying? Ask yourself this question, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think they would have gave a shit? Well, let's put it this way. Nobody gave a shit in the media about Taiwan until President Trump's in office. All right? Think about that one for 2 seconds. When did the media bark at Joe Biden or bark at Obama about Taiwan or anything? Hell, they pretty much gave Biden a red carpet when Russia invaded Ukraine. Nobody said shit. They didn't care.
On that topic, for me, my perspective, I kind of lean a little bit towards what you're saying, Top, especially with the coexist mentality. One thing I think about China's an old dog. I mean, out of every global power or country in the world, they literally have multi-millennial lineage, history, DNA as a country. They built the wall of China, the Great Wall of China, not because they were expansionists. They were very defensive in their nature, right? They've always tried to withhold their country inside of their own, their own. They were worried about people invading it, perhaps the mongrels, the Japanese. They've never really been the marching type to march across the world, right? And I doubt that out of anywhere they're just going to pop up and start having that in their nature, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, what I do say is what's good for the geese is good for the gander, or good for the. We just seized one of their ships right off of Venezuela, off the shore of Venezuela, maybe 2 months ago,
Yeah.
right? And I felt like we were in every right to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I therefore say what's good for the geese is good for the gander. That's their side of the hemisphere. I'm with Trump. We don't need any wars 9,500 miles away from us.
No.
We don't have any they sat back and let us do what we were doing on our hemisphere. Hey, let them do what they do on their hemisphere. I'm kind of with Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know if you remember when Vivek was running for president last cycle. He came out and he was asked about Taiwan, and he said the number one interest we have in Taiwan was semiconductors, right? The fact that we don't really build them here. He said that we need to turn that into another America First policy. We need to stop relying on everybody else to do shit we could do here. And in that being so, one of his 3-point plans, part of it was being East Asian independent. He wanted to start semiconductor research and building it here, building factories here. And that way, by 2030, we wouldn't have any interest in even protecting Taiwan. And we could pull out of that. And we wouldn't have to deal with this ambiguity of what we're going to do. Because ultimately, Top, I think you're right. The one China rule, yes, it's a referendum on in one way. But the referendum is no different than us saying Venezuela is in our atmosphere and we're going to control it. Fuck that foreign power. I don't think we should be able to look at China, especially when they are essentially equal might to us. Not in certain ways, right? There's a 1 billion population, right? Is a lot of people over there living their own lives, their own culture. The Taiwanese have way more lineage and ties to China than America will ever have. And I think that we have overextended ourselves by even trying to be involved in Taiwan. You know what I mean? It's incompatible to us anyway. So I am 100% for Vivek Ramaswamy's plan of becoming East Asian independent and focusing on building that stuff here, and let China and Taiwan figure out what they're going to do over there.
And that's, I think Trump might be thinking the same thing too, man, because his whole thing is a businessman. Okay. Right. What deal can I make with China as far as what they do in their hemisphere that close, like Tom said, man, they've been under for millions of years under the rule of China,
Right.
and then your good point too, Ray, about the Venezuela situation. And we're
Right.
not too far away from Cuba. We're like arm's reach away from Cuba.
Right.
Coming into one of us as well, man.
Right.
That's going to be interesting. Maybe we could talk about Cuba next week's topic or something, man. That's going to be a good one right there, man.
For sure,
Yes,
for
sir.
sure. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, I totally agree with that, man. So
Mhm.
on to the next topic. We got some more domestic issues to think about. I know y'all been hearing about the elections that have been going on for all over the country. We literally have an epidemic of socialists and communists winning elections up and down the seaboard. It is a lot of people that just don't really grasp or even care to understand this concept of what socialism is, right? And
Mhm.
the ones that are pro-socialism, they typically like to reach out and say, well, what about the Scandinavian countries and all, when they have come out themselves and said, we're not socialists. We are heavy capitalists. We just have a high tax burden. That's it. I really have a problem with the electorate not understanding what's happening all across the country. And I don't really have my finger on the pulse of actually how to get it directly to people, because a lot of people want to do the head in the sand thing and not realizing a lot of things are being eroded away from them day by day and vote election by election. One thing that has just transpired is the Supreme Court ruling down on the Democrats trying to create racial districts, right? uh the issue with racial districts is it never was constitutional. And it seems like the left really doesn't get this. And they believe that for some strange reason, because the racial districting idea is being shot down, that is unfair, that the Republicans are actually winning on some of their redistricting lines. And it's
Mhm.
mostly because they don't understand and correlate how this works, right? So
Mhm.
first off, I want to pull up some things that they typically conveniently leave out. Let me pull this first up. You got Gavin Newsom. Can you see that?
Negative. There you go.
All right, you got Gavin Newsom coming out tweeting, no vote in Tennessee, 1+ GOP. No vote in Florida, 1+4 GOP. No vote in Missouri, +1 GOP. No vote in North Carolina, +2 GOP. No vote in Texas, +5 GOP. Virginia's voter approved maps thrown out. MAGA has rigged the election. But they never want to mention this. This is not just
No.
started. How about
Mm.
Massachusetts? 36% Republican, 0 seats. Connecticut, 42% Republican, 0 seats. Now, the reason why I highlight this discrepancy is because this is all good. Just like what we were talking about, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
Mhm.
Uh, These this is a meme me and my wife shared. This is my wife rocking her "Make America Great Again" stuff, and it's always some white liberal women telling her how she's not thinking right and how she's not black and all of this extra dumb shit. But these are the same people that are trying to create this illusion that we are suffering. Oh, what happened? That we are suffering from racial districting, right?
Mhm.
Um, the funny part about this is it's all based on census data. Who voted how many times for what party where? What's the population? Now, the redistricting in Virginia was all trying to hub all the power in this little metropolitan area and stretch it out to encapsulate
Mm.
a whole bunch of people that had nothing to do with DC, right? In Memphis, you had a little area that had a couple. It was like a Democrat stronghold. They just wanted to bottle up all the black people because black people voted 92% Democrat instead of tallying up the actual counties. The district lines are based off the census and not the counties. How are you going to draw lines, squiggly lines through counties? Right? So, in all reality, the map of redistricting and showing in these counties that there are more Republican voters per county versus Democrat voters per county is not being racist. Just because you think it's racist because Memphis so happens to be a high black volume city does not make it racist. What say you, Nate?
Play card. That's the card they always play, man. Every single time. Well, you got to throw that race out there. Hey, let's face it, man. They wrote the book. They wrote the playbook on this shit. They don't like it. They don't like it when it turns on them, and now you're seeing the results. And now they're on every news network you could think of, man. Race card. I was just talking to my buddy Tom today, man. We were cruising through, and I was like, he mentioned Jim Crow 2.0. And I said, man, I was on my show last week or week before or something. I was like, you know what's funny about Jim Crow 2.0? Those are the motherfuckers that created the damn thing, man. All the segregation laws and shit, all the DC Democrats, man, back in the day. But you don't hear nothing about that, man. But yeah, they're gonna cry Jim Crow 2.0. That meme that you just showed, my favorite one is white supremacists for the black woman, man. That was a good one right there, man. That's my favorite one, the white supremacists.
This was Abby Phillips's show. I got a little segment to play with Abby Phillips on CNN, and these are some of the black co-hosts that had something to say about this. Let's hear what they got to say. You guys got sound? No.
It's like
they're going slow too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me cancel it out and reshare. Try it again. Okay.
Yeah, man. They wrote the playbook. And now they're crying.
All right, how about now? You guys hear it?
Not hearing any sound right now. No.
Yeah, no sound, but they're talking pretty good, man. I'd actually like to hear it. To be honest with you, I bet you it's a good one here.
Oh yeah, it's definitely good. Try it one more time. One more time.
All right.
All right. Let's see if we got it now.
Somebody fell asleep in 1896
There we go.
and woke up today in 2026. They would simply say the only difference is now Negroes have a TV show and we wear nice suits. They swap.
I saw that one.
Goods for Brooks Brothers suits. And that is the problem. I mean, Plessy v. Ferguson was 7-1, and it gave birth to 50 years of Jim Crow. What we have with this court right now, what we're seeing is watching people who have fought and died and bled so that we would have access to the ballot box, so that we would have access to our voices being heard in Congress, being ripped away. And I think that there is a casual laughter from people we believe to be our friends on the right who are showing us true colors today, because the most sacred, or one of the most sacred acts you have in the United States of America is the ability to cast a ballot and elect someone and send them to Congress, the state house, or a mayoral seat that represents your interest. And now black folks throughout the South are being silenced. And I don't find that to be a laughing matter.
Well, God damn it, I told y'all a week or 10 days ago that the Supreme Court was not legit. Some of you motherfuckers took issue with me. Well, now you're not anymore, are you? Now we find out that in the Louisiana redistricting case, which was bullshit, they decided it after in May or late April, in elections this year, they're having to bring the legislature to be as corrupt as they possibly be, to disenfranchise as many black people as they can. I hate to say this to my black brothers and sisters, but you can forget about fucking equal protection and due process in this country.
Somebody
Not
needs to tell
only
him
that,
he needs to slow down on the scotch before he gets on air, man.
can you guys see this image I'm sharing? So
Yeah.
basically, according to James Carville, forget equal representation, and to the other guy, Finney Myers or whatever the hell his name is, talking about if we woke up in 1826, the only thing difference is we got fucking nice suits and we're on TV. Shut the hell up. That type of shit pisses me the fuck off because right here's a perfect example. Voting for who we want to vote for. The top row left to right. You got Winston Earl Sears, you have Tamika Hamilton, and Charlotte Burgum. All Republicans. They're black ladies. All Republicans. Then the bottom row, Abigail Spanberger, Virginia, Amy Barra, Stephen Cohen, all Democrats. All right. All of these white Democrats beat the black conservatives. You can vote for who you want to, but instead of voting for the blacks like you so-called want representation in your skin, but because it's all about Democrat power and control. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with whether or not it's skin representation. It just so happens that the Democrat plantation, the Democrat Party, they are very good at propagandizing black people into believing that they are the only party for them. Not that there aren't black people that don't think like them, but they make most black people believe through the media and other outlets that they are the only party for them, when in all reality, this is what they started as. The two platforms. The Democrat, this was a propaganda piece for the 1868 presidential election. The Democrat platform is for the white man. The Republican platform for the Negro. Look how they drew the Negro. Some retarded Down syndrome having monkey, you know? That's what they did. And to turn around and 100 some odd years later, act like there was some kind of great party switch to some kind of, I don't know, way that we magically just flipped all the congressional seats. You know, they call it the great switch. There's no documented proof of any congressional representative switching parties. They may have had different people voting for the different parties, but the party didn't switch. And we have got mind fucked through education and media to believe that the Democrat Party is the only ones that can represent black people. But whenever black people are represented in other parties, they're sellouts. I don't understand how they keep running this playbook, and it just blows my mind.
That's what I don't understand
about this.
Well, I don't. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand the mentality that it can continue on. Now, a lot of places it doesn't anymore. They can't sell that shit no more to a lot of black people or minority people at all. Period. They can't keep selling it. It was created in the early '60s when they were doing the civil rights and all that because we had a Democrat-led administration. Okay, they took advantage of that and they never let go of it. That's when they flipped it, that the Democrats were the ones for minorities within the United States. And what they don't tell you is that it was a Republican legislative branch that was fighting for the civil rights, and the Democrats in the legislative branch were trying to withhold it. We're trying to stop it, man. But, you know, that's a history lesson for another day, I guess.
Right. What say you, Top?
One of the things that I think that is important for our nation is to stop putting whatever we might put in front of American. If we begin to simply ignore the ethnicity or ignore the skin color or ignore any of those features that make us different by looking at us and begin to enhance the American part, the melting pot part, if we begin to think of ourselves less as separate from and more inclusive of, and begin to, one of the things that was weird, and I wanted to ask you about this, Ray, maybe this is the right time. there was a news piece that was done by 60 Minutes, and it was said something similar to, these groups of people are coming and helping people after tornadoes and hurricanes, and they are white nationalists, and like it was a disparaging term. And I know that like I would never call myself a white nationalist. It seems silly, but you very clearly call yourself a black nationalist. And I mean, I don't take that anything as more just a descriptive of, whatever. But if I was to say, like, if we were to walk into a bar together and you go, "Hey, I'm a black nationalist," everybody go, "Well, hey, Ray." If I walk in and go, "Hey, I'm a white nationalist," they go, "Hey, racist, what's going on?"
Thank you.
What I mean,
So,
talk to me about that. How does that work?
My perspective on this, right, is it's one of those things where, okay, this isn't. I don't meet people and greet people with it, right? That's not something that I'm meeting and greeting. It's more so a descriptor of what's happening in here, right? So on the show, when I exclaim, "Yeah, I'm a black nationalist," what this means in particular is I don't have a lot in common with the African American experience. Okay, I'm not an African. I wasn't born in Africa. I don't have any lineage that I know shit about Africa, right? And I don't put African American in my experience because that is something that was given to us as a group all catch all term, right?
Mhm.
But I identify with people that identify as black people in this country. My nation comes first to me out of anything in this country.
Mhm.
And I can't unsee the lines that are drawing themselves more and more. For instance, there's a community going on in Arkansas right now where it's called Return to the Land. It's a bunch of white people bought up a bunch of land. They want their land for whites only, and they want it to be just pure Anglo-Saxon uh, ethnicity and culture. I believe in the Constitution as far as you're not hurting me. Go do what you're gonna do, man. As long as you abiding by the Constitution and the laws of the land, you're not hurting anybody else. You're not stealing anybody's life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness. What do I have to say about it? But the pushing and prodding through our education system, the media, and this Marxist ideology that's creeping into the country is making lines of self-identifying more and more important. More so where there's people. I told my wife this a while ago. Um, I said that because I had a buddy of mine, a real close friend of mine. He's a white guy, and we camping, fishing, and one of the biggest themes that me and him talked about a lot was whenever we had group settings and we're talking, he'll exclaim like, "I'm not a fucking racist. I don't understand this and that, this and that." And it's about how you carry yourself, And what I was explaining to him is this country has that taught especially my generation and younger, that white men are the enemy, right? So much so that the younger men of Gen Z and millennials, the white men of this age group and down have been being bashed so much that all they feel is pent up repression, so to speak. And it's starting to manifest itself in many ways, like those that you might call very far right individuals, right? The Groypers or something like that from Nick Fuentes, openly, ethno nationalists, very, very white centered, and I see it popping up everywhere in comments. And the craziest part about it is being who I am as a black man, a black nationalist. I'm proud to be a black man. I would not want to wake up and be anything else. I'm happy with being that. I think that any white man that wakes up and says, "I'm happy with my heritage. I'm happy to be able to look down my lineage and say, this is where I came from." I think that is something to actually embrace. There's nothing wrong with embracing who you were and what your lineage was, right? And
Mhm.
what has happened in this country, just like you pointed out, to come out and say I'm a white nationalist, you get looked at like, and if I come out and say I'm a black nationalist, I get a pat on the back. You can go ahead, yeah. Like, and I see it, but I use it to distinct that I have an interest in those that are really black conservatives of America grouping together and looking for the future of a better tomorrow for those that come from us. I don't want to have shit to do with these so-called African Americans that think they are some oppressed losers that done got their ass kicked all over the world. That's all. We were the first to do this. We were really the English. We were really the Israelites. We were really this. We created rock and roll. We all this fuck shit that they do. I don't like it. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. So I openly exclaim that I'm black and I'm a nationalist because the nation that I appreciate that I come from, I put my life on the line for it. But that doesn't mean that the white person that lives across the street from me, that I have anything wrong against them or ever should be at odds with them. You know, I'm here to fight for the nation just like you are. And that's kind of where I stand when I exclaim that. And I think that'll be more pronounced as time go on with individuals. And I get it. The whole spiel, what you said earlier, is just like what Morgan Freeman said. Like, you know, let's stop talking about it. Let's just stop identifying it. They'll go away. But in my opinion, I don't really think that's a reality. You know,
No.
not that it can't happen, but something else has to happen first. And that thing that happens first is the e pluribus unum. What unifies us is what matters first. Is it spiritual, religious? Is it nation? Is it set of laws and rules? I so happen to be of the type where just because I don't come from a people that had a certain thinking doesn't mean I can't look at their ideas and say that was good, right? I can look at how the founding fathers came to their conclusions to create republics on top of a republic and create this federal system and say that, oh, they got that through studying Greek and Roman politics. They got that through studying the philosophies of the how would you say, the Senate, how that works, the governing body. So understanding that as an idea is me saying, oh, I'm a nationalist to this, not necessarily saying that this is my heritage or this is my lineage or ethnicity. So when I say black, yeah, that's just a self-descriptor. But in a conversation with us together, I probably wouldn't be having shit to say about none of that. We just be hanging the hell out, you know? So
yeah,
that's kind of where it stands.
It doesn't help either when a lot on the left, when you say the word nationalist, people that actually hate our country, you know, that kind of hurts it too, you know, on a bigger aspect of it. Yep.
Yep. So I definitely understand that and understand those concerns. You know, my biggest concern about this, especially when describing the nationalism, is embracing the ideas that the founders had created. You know, they all. I think Benjamin Franklin was quoted as saying, coming out of the Congress after they institutionalized the Constitution, they said, "What kind of government did you give us?" And he said, "A republic, if you guys can keep it." And is quoted as Thomas Jefferson and James Adams saying that a republic can only be held by an intellectual populace, an intelligent populace. These were all young men that had lots of time to read. They didn't have all these distractions. They were focused. They seen the history. They understood what they came from and how they actually got to where they were and what it took to keep it. And this is why also I highlight so much into this, which happens to be a great segue into something else I want to share real quick, is the fact that these Marxists, their number one tool is to divide and pull people apart. And it may be said that when I say black nationalists, I am actually dividing myself. Where in all reality, what I'm doing is actually doing what China's did with the Great Wall. I'm trying to create a wall around people like me and those that think like me, other black Republicans, other black conservatives, other individuals that don't have a home. We're not fully accepted into the white community. We're not fully accepted into the African American community, but we can create our own in this nation, and that's what's so beautiful about this nation, and that's why I'm a nationalist for this nation, right? And I think it really matters. You know, I don't have a problem with people. You go online, you see it. There's running memes of 13% of the doctors creating 13% of the crimes, right? It's a meme on the crime statistics that black people make up 13% of the population, but do overwhelming numbers of the crime, overwhelming number of murders, blacks, overwhelming number of, you know, just name it. Statistically, we're doing it more than any other race per capita. And I do know for a fact by hands-on that there's other individuals in this nation that think like me and look like me and don't and are ostracized from both sides and see it both ways. Because I can see what they mean by the ghetto and ratchet behavior. Hell, I came from it, right? So I understand what I'm seeing and I see the divides and I get what's happening. But I want to unify under the nation. That is the e pluribus unum for me. And what I worry about is this right here, top. If you could share my screen, we have a wholly ignorant populace that knows nothing, that are uplifting individuals like this all over the country. Do you guys know that this lady on your screen is the #1 leading candidate for 2028 presidential election? Now, to say the least, I think it's alarming that she is that for the left, right? And I'm not saying that I think she actually can win a general, but the fact that she could win a primary shows you that half the country has lost their fucking mind. And I want you to hear some of the stuff that she spews.
Of wealth and accumulation that is unearned, right? There's a certain level of wealth and accumulation that is unearned, right? You can't earn $1 billion.
That's right.
You just can't earn that.
That's exactly correct.
You can get market power, you can break rules, you can do all sorts of things. You can abuse labor laws, you can pay people less than what they're worth, but you can't earn that, right?
That's
and
right.
so you have to create a myth that since you didn't earn that, you have to create a myth of earning it.
Boy. So
I think he did a great job on pointing out some of her inconsistencies in this.
Yeah.
And I want to show more of context of what stuff she's saying. Let me play some of this real quick.
Break rules, you can do all sorts of things. You can abuse labor laws, you can pay people less than what they're worth, but you can't earn that, right? Since you didn't earn that, you have to create a myth of earning it.
Founding of the country sound not only just stupid, but historically illiterate as well too. As she tries to connect her Marxism with the founding of the country, and it does not go very well during this interview with David Axelrod, in which again she's going to be asked about her comments
listen to this.
and Marx's worldview on billionaires. So without further ado, let's get into it.
And first of all, I mean, call me crazy, but I don't think that every single American aspires to be a billionaire. I think that our idea of success,
they might not object, but they may
not object, but I don't think it's the universal American ideal. I think our ideal of success is to be able to work an honest job and sustain yourself and support your kids and go on vacation, you know, once or twice a year and have some money in your pocket and be part of a community and have your community and your town be safe and thrive and to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And the second point on this.
Yeah. So none of that in my opinion, right, is in opposition to the existence of billionaires, right? Like what she's basically arguing here is that the existence of billionaires somehow is antithetical to all those things she just outlined, right? The ability to have community bonds, to have understanding how dumb you are. If AOC understood that she was dumb, then she would have made the smart decision of avoiding doing this type of live interview.
It is that I want to talk about how this is in the heritage of our country, because America was founded. You look at Thomas Jefferson writing to Madison in revolt of British aristocracy. The American Revolution was against the billionaires of their time. And we are declaring independence from such an extreme marriage of wealth and power and the state that the voices of everyday people did not exist. Now, of course, in that construction, you had slavery, you had, women who were also not full people in the eyes of the law. But since then, as well, it was the organizing of Black Americans that turned America into a full democracy.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is exactly what I'm talking about. She's so dumb.
All right, so I know you guys get the picture.
Yeah.
It's individuals like this that, because they can win popularity contests, are winning everywhere right now. Everywhere. I mean, when she first hit my radar in 2018, I was telling people about it. And people were like, whatever. She's won 4 more elections. Never go full retard.
Yeah, boy.
She's won 4 more elections.
They want her,
Think
even
about
though
this.
she destroyed her district with ruining that Amazon deal. Yeah.
Blacks created democracy. I mean, and you gotta realize, what about the new Christopher Nolan film? Kind of sounds off topic, but it's not. They're making Helen of Troy a Black woman with short hair.
Oh,
They're making Achilles a transgender woman or transgender man, and they're representing one of the greatest historical Greco-Roman heroes of all time as a transgendered man. All of this woke ideology is going way too far. And the saddest part about it is my age group and below are suffering from it, where now the young white men are actually feeling like there's something they need to battle. Problem is, they're outnumbered in all sides, because they have white men in their same demographic fighting against them for this bullshit. So in general, I'm trying to do my damnedest to bring alert and alarm to what's happening and what's coming via the voting box. And that's what it all boils down to. So that's why I always end our segment with, please do your research and really thoroughly educate yourself on the topics. You hear this lady talking about billionaires. There's no way to earn that. Oh, just for the simple fact, Jeff Bezos started in his garage, right? With a bookstore, online bookstore, bust his ass, made that shit a success, started selling products all over the world through the internet, and then made it possible for you to get on your phone and order whatever the fuck you want, and it's at your doorstep tomorrow. He created a system that works that efficiently, and you can do whatever. You can get on there and sell shit through his system. And he's employing hundreds of thousands of people, giving people livelihoods. How the fuck didn't he earn that? How didn't he? You talk about Elon Musk, fucking brilliant mind. Before the government, they left like to say, oh, the government subsidizes them. No, have you forgot PayPal? Right. There would be no PayPal without Elon Musk. After he sold PayPal, then there was nights where Tesla almost went bankrupt. He was sleeping on the floor day in, day out in his office, making sure Tesla got off the ground. People just go by these, just fuck these experiences. This is what capitalism is. Capitalism is a tide that lifts all boats. And until people understand that and recognize that for what it is, they're going to keep finding this victim Olympic and oppression. They look at these things like, oh, you shouldn't be rich. You shouldn't. Well, why not? Who are you to tell me what I should do with my money and my earnings? As you guys have seen over the last month, I've been on the road a lot. I haven't been doing shit at the house.
Yeah.
Why? Not because I have to. I can go sit my ass down and go snore for all I don't have to do this shit. What I'm doing it for is because I want to leave a nice estate for my children. So now I'm putting overtime points on the board. All my house is paid off. I have a paid off house. I don't have bills, but I'm out here grinding like I'm a 21-year-old with nothing to lose. Why? Because I'm trying to put extra points on the board. That's what capitalism is about. If you were to start taxing me extra, I go sit my ass at the house and I won't be a part of the economy. That's the incentive. And these people that we are electing, because lazy people benefit from socialism at first until they run out of people like me and others that create shit, money, you know, they keep doing it, you know. So I don't want to go too hard on a tangent, man. I'm getting off kilter.
Hey, man, New York City, baby. You're watching it. You're watching it live.
Hey, pay attention to it. That's coming to a metropolitan or a rural area near you sooner than later.
Yep. Just watch
Give it
New
20
York.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Watching 4.
Yeah, we don't
4 years, baby.
Depending on it. You know, I hate to see what this country look like in 2040. I really do.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good for the way that my age group is thinking. My age group and below, they're captured by this shit. They're extremely captured by this shit, and it's nerve-wracking, you know, because I got kids. I live for my future. I live for my lineage. I don't live for now, you know. So that's kind of where I stand on all of it, man. I hope you guys got something out of it. Anything you guys want to say, Top? I know you want to give somebody a shout out, Penny.
Oh yeah, Penny Cox Esquire, for all your attorney needs. If the popo's chasing you, call Penny. Amen. Amen. Love you guys. Hey, it's been a blast. It's been wonderful. Say bye, everybody.
Later, man.
All right now.
Go Pitt.
Marshall in the middle.